to The Best of Intentions, a podcast from Intention Films and Media, hosted by writer, director, former film commissioner, and novelist Debra Markowitz. So join us as we talk about all things creative.
Hi, thanks for joining us again. I'm Debbie Markowitz, and this is the Best of Intentions podcast, the podcast of Intention Films and Media. This is like you eavesdropping on one of our private conversations, as I have all my film friends here with me today and every other day when we're here, and kind of get a glimpse into how we do things and who the people, the movers and the shakers in the industry are, the real creatives. So thank you for joining us. But I have a very special guest here today, Eddie LeBron. Eddie is an Emmy Award, multiple Emmy Award winning director, editor, director of photography, and you do just about everything there is to do. But you started with the Long Island International Film Expo, like what, 10 years ago?
Even longer. 2009 is one of my earliest short films. It was the second festival I ever got into.
Oh, that's amazing. I feel great about that then.
Yes.
Now, had you won any of your Emmy Awards yet?
At that point, no. I think I was like a year and a half into film school, so I was still like figuring things out. So
that's
very,
so cool.
very just ruminating beginnings.
Mm-hmm. I love when I would see a name come in. I haven't been a judge for a long time, but I'd see your name come in. I'm like, wait, that's we know this guy. I think we know this guy, right? He was here before, you know, and it's you. So it's cool that you've kind of stuck with us for all this time, and we've got to watch your career really, really take off and do well. But how does one win an Emmy Award? What do you got to do? How do you do that?
There's various bodies of, the various Emmy academies and jurisdictions. So it was by happenstance when I started working in local news, and I just got involved in the right projects, and they won a New York Emmy and then won another. And it was my start in news and documentary. And yeah, that was it. It was just right time, right place, right project.
I need that right time, right place, right project.
We all find it.
I mean, when you get something into an Academy Award qualifying film festival, even if you don't win, and I mean, I've been lucky enough to have that happen. It's just sort of like, it's a little bit of cred there. That's kind of a nice thing, Now it would be nice to actually win one of them, but I'll take being where I am.
I'll take anything.
Yeah, but it's really cool. So you do everything. You do everything on set. What's your favorite?
Depends on my mood. Literally day by day, it can go from like, oh, I love directing, and then the next day I'm like, I'm tired of directing, I love cinematography, and then the next day I'm tired of that, I'm editing, tired of that, visual effects. It's all enjoyable to me equally. Mm-hmm. I know I've had this discussion numerous times with Letty, my business partner, about what I prefer. I don't know. There's really no concrete answer. Like right now, I'm in a very, I think, an editing mood, a little bit of an editing mood, and it's because of the last few days having to wrap my head around.
She's shaking her head. No, it's not. No, it's not. Letty's here.
What's my mood today? Okay, well, that's going to change. I definitely know tomorrow is going to be a cinematography mood, even though tomorrow I'll be editing. Mm-hmm. So it's just like sometimes I'm doing the thing and I'm thinking about the other thing.
That's amazing. No, that's great that you have all those different outlets, that you're not just doing the one thing and, you can
it's by necessity.
Yeah, so my problem is I work on so many films as a director that I don't get to write enough. And I miss that,
Yeah.
So John and I are trying to slow down a little bit on that and work on projects. But of course now we have a vertical series we're going to be doing. But I miss writing, because that's really the only thing I do is I write, direct, and I cast.
That's funny you say that. Letty, what's my least favorite thing to do?
Right.
I love writing.
That's the thing about me and writing, is like I love it when the two scenarios, when the idea just comes,
yes,
and then I put it on the paper, and it's not even like I really workshop. It's like it all makes sense, yes, and it comes out. Or I'm like brought on as like a co-writer, and I end up like having enough ideas to kind of do a second pass. Mm-hmm. But like when it comes to like writing, I'm just like, I need inspiration. Mm-hmm. So technically, like if you hired me as like a co-writer, if you're coming to me with an idea, I got you. If you're hiring me to write from like scratch and I'm not inspired,
You have to be inspired.
Yeah.
I know there's people that
tedious.
say just write and the inspiration will come later. I got to be inspired by the idea.
Yeah.
Because I co-write also, and I love when somebody comes to me with something that's pretty good, but it's missing something, and I'm like, can I play with this a little? And then all of a sudden it's, they read it and they're like, who thought of that ending, And it's because the idea itself sparked it, out of me. But
That's I feel like that's what Letty does with me. Is like I give her an idea. I write a script and then she takes it to another level, and then me, I feel like I'm more of like a script doctor where I'm cutting things out. I'm like, do you really need this? I'm cutting. I'll be the first to cut out unnecessary dialogue. Like I'm just like, I'm a visual person. That's probably why like writing is like a weird thing for me. Is like I have all these visuals in my head, and I wish I could like write a script and just be like, which technically I guess is how I write, is like straight to the point, visuals. I'm very like, my details are like very specifically in my head in terms of what I see. So I try to keep the script very like minimal and visual within a sentence. And then luckily I direct all my own scripts, so as long as the actors have everything they need, they're good.
yeah, I mean, one reason I did Silent Harmony, which you probably haven't seen yet, it's on the
I have.
Oh, you have seen it?
Yeah, it's screened at it was a Golden Door.
Oh, okay, that's right. I didn't go because I had stuff going on. But the idea behind that was I started using less and less dialogue. And I said, well, what would it be if I made a film where the main characters never talk?
Yeah, I noticed that halfway, and I'm like, wait a minute.
I know, it's silent. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was just because I started as a novelist, I love dialogue, and I tend to get a little carried away with it. But every year that goes by, I notice that I'll write it and then take this out. When we did From the Embers just recently, we'd be on the set and I'd be looking and going, you know what? Skip all the middle. Say the first line, and the actors are so grateful. But because I realize they don't need all that, especially if you're working with great actors.
Oh, true.
So but Silent Harmony, I specifically wanted to do it as silent as possible. And it was a fun experience to do that. But and we figured people are either going to love it or hate it. I don't know, but it's whoever's supposed to love it is going to see it. And that's it.
And then minimal dialogue pieces, like when it strikes a chord, it really does.
Yes.
Because then it does rewire your brain on what you focus in on. Like when I was watching, my brain rewired halfway in when I realized, okay, this is more of nuance and seeing how they're behaving and the small things in the interaction. It's not about what they're saying. It's about, so then my eyes kind of lock into things differently. So, and that's like the fun of watching a movie. It's like when something re-engages you in a different way, that engagement is the point you watch a movie, is to be involved psychologically in the adventure. So when I realized what you're doing, it's like, okay. And I think you directed something else that was like, that screened earlier. So
Welcome to Bellevue.
Seeing two different things of two different tones and two like just different like approaches, like that's fun. I love when I see like someone pop up more than once at a festival and you can kind of compare. And those two films are like so different than like Brimstone and
when we screened Brimstone and Assassin, I think together you came up to me after seeing them, go, see, now those are both different.
They're
and you had some nice things to say, which I appreciate, because I don't know if we ever realize if our work is good or if it's good enough or if it's, you never know. You do the best you can and you walk away.
It's weird to live in the bubble of your own work.
Yeah. Oh.
and like kind of overly questioning yourself and kind of figuring it out. But I've learned very recently, like, all films are good until they're not. Like, the bad films are just inherently bad. But even bad films have, like, a purpose because you use them to get better and get stronger. And then you just kind of reach a point where you're just making movies and you're just telling a story and putting your voice out. And every film has merit. Unless it's an AI movie, then it has no merit. It has no
merit at all. I agree. No merit at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I've come to the conclusion that not everybody's going to like every film. And that's not a bad thing because we're all different. And but the people who are supposed to see your film will be the people who you make it for. You know, the
Yeah.
people who are going to care. And you have to look at it that way or you'll just lose your mind.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the reviews for Waitlist have been overwhelmingly good, but occasionally you'll get one that, I don't want to say too much, but one was something like, somebody who clearly hadn't seen it, like, why would you think I would want to watch this shit? And I'm like, oh, ouch. But then it was clear they hadn't seen it. Okay, well, if you don't like rom-coms, don't see it.
It's not going to be for you.
Yeah.
That's funny because so when I don't direct, I do cinematography, editing, and producing for Letty. Hi, Letty. And very recently, to my dismay, I've always never been the type to be on Letterboxd. And now that you see short films getting reviewed on there and festivals pushing that more, it brings me back to my YouTube days when back in the day I did all these little viral nonsense videos, video game movie stuff, and reading the comments can be either the most uplifting thing or break you down. And I'm like, you know what, doing my little dramas and my little personal things, you know, they're for me, and if people like them, they'll come up to me, and if they don't, that's okay too. And now to like read like reviews, and it could be something as simple as just like, I don't like the lead is a woman type thing. Why wasn't it this? Why wasn't that? And it's just like,
Because it's my movie and not yours.
yeah. And I know Letty was very salty about some of those reviews, but you know,
Yeah.
every review has merit except
Yeah.
we know the reviews that don't have merit, but everyone has their own. I try to stay in my bubble and just make my things
That's smart.
and hope for the best.
Yeah, I have to go through all the reviews and stuff because they have to pick out quotes, you know, for the website, and I really don't want to. Although most of them have been really good, you know, and actually most of them really have been really good. I think, well, I'm not going to go into it, but really most of them, so I'm lucky that way, but every now and then you see one that like that, and it's just like, just kill me now, why am I doing this?
I mean, I think only one of my a lot of my shorts have been on Letterboxd recently, and the ones that I directed, but none of them have reviews yet, because it's just like you have to be in the right festival for them to push that sort of thing. But I already know the comments about every, like, I know the positive in my head and the negative of every movie I've done, because I'm fully aware.
Yeah.
Like, one of the most, like, in my opinion, one of the most visually, like, dynamic films I shot was a film called Love and Hatred in Megawave City, which is screened.
Yeah.
And like that movie is great on mute. And then when I watch it, I know the weaknesses immediately, and it's weird to kind of have that internal battle of like, I know what I would redo, and I know what I can strengthen, and I know that the issues I have are the issues that other people probably have. When off the top of my head also is like, I think it's like too long.
Yeah, that's I think the biggest thing. That's how I feel about Waitlist. I felt that if I was doing it now, and I'm not going back, but if I was doing it now, I know 2 scenes I would cut, but I also know it's not like it's great art. It's a fun rom-com. It's a sexy little film, and the people who like that kind of film aren't going to have a problem with it, you know. But the people who are strict filmmakers, who will give her the worst critics ever, you know, will be the ones that go, well, and, you know, of course they're saying all this stuff. But when you make a movie for next to no money, you know, you do the best you can, you, and luckily you do everything. You do your own post, and you do your own editing.
Purely from a budgetary standpoint.
Yeah, but you can
that's
do it.
That's the whole reason I learned how to do everything, was out of necessity when I was 18, and I wanted to make my own movies, not have to wait.
Right.
And then it's funny, like, it wasn't until the last few years where I'm now in a position where I'm like, oh, people are actually like giving us money to make a movie and do our thing. And now, like, it's like a one-stop shop, because I do like all the technical stuff, and you have Letty doing all of the creative stuff, and then you have the whole, you know, just sphere of who we work with and who we bring in. So we're like fully like just staffed, and it's great. But, you know, it all started because I had no money for a cinematographer when I was 18, so I had to force myself to learn that. And I'm like, okay, I guess I gotta learn to edit. Okay, I guess I gotta learn visual effects. Oh, no wonder my film looks weird. I don't know how to color grade. And it's just like 20 years of systematically keeping my budget under $20. So.
Yeah, it's just crazy. But you know what we do? I remember when I made Waitlist and I sent it to my manager, And he looked at it and he goes, okay, it's good, but this, and this. And I said, I know, but. And one of the things was, he said, the location is pretty repetitive. I'm like, no money. There's no money. So most people say the production design is gorgeous because I had a friend helping us out. She got paid, but, she's higher level than what we could really afford, so that was all positive. But it was, when I told him what the budget was finally, he went to me, this is pretty freaking magnificent. I said, thank you, because, I don't have, his films are usually $10 million. He produced a film with Liam Neeson in it, I mean, I'm not doing that, I'm calling in all my television friends and all my, my other friends to be in it and stuff, and hopefully you get a watchable movie, which I know we did. But yeah, well, you look at it afterwards and you're like, especially if you see it on the big screen, and then you're like, oh, yeah.
It's weird. I've had both. I've had like, oh, I hate watching this on the big screen. And then I've had movies where I'm like, you only have to watch this on the big, like the effect of it on the big screen.
Yeah.
And I've had like colleagues come up, it's like, it's a different experience on the big screen than the rough cut you showed me. I'm like, yeah, I know. So it's like certain movies I've made kind of have to, like Love and Hatred, Megawave City, that's a big screen movie. And I've seen it like on a giant, like, Regal Times Square screen. I'm like, this is the only way to see it. And then it loses all of its like fun nuance and visual appeal when it's on. I sound like a Chris Nolan guy. It's like you got to see it in IMAX, but yeah, it's. Now here's an interesting question for you.
Sure.
What do you think is in the last 20 years your weakest movie? I already know mine.
My weakest movie in the last 20 years, we're including shorts and everything?
Yeah. You can love all your movies, but like one movie that you would like go back and be like, I wish I had another crack at that.
No, there's one movie that there's no crack to give it. It was I mean, I don't want to mention names because I don't want to insult anybody, but a dear friend who was a phenomenal independent film director who passed away. The last of his work wasn't very good, and so I was contacted to say, since he passed away, would you take a will? He really liked you, respected you. Would you do his last film? And I played with the script a little bit, and after we filmed it, I hated it. And I'm trying to figure every which way to do something different. And John said, is there anything you do to make it better? I'm not really. The script sucks. And we were so excited to do something for him, and so that will never be seen. But out of that came The Prof. And when I made The Prof, I wrote it because even though I was paid to do the other one, and even though the person who hired me said, you didn't do anything wrong, it just sucks. And so, but I still felt like I needed to give them something. So I wrote The Prof, which is a story of an independent filmmaker who's had a great career, and now he's on the slide downhill, and he takes all kinds of crappy work to make ends meet, and he knows it. But he meets somebody who basically, calls him out on it, and, everything changes and a career grows again. We gave him the ending that the other filmmaker didn't have, and we dedicated the film to him. So that something came out of that.
That's nice.
But I couldn't, and I said, you don't even have to hire me, but I have to give you something because I just feel like you can't have nothing, from having us shop this. So, and they said, no, we want you. All right. So my worst film, my film.
It's rough.
That is rough.
It's like you don't want to throw a film. It's more of like not necessarily this is a bad movie. It's like a movie where it's like if I could make this now, I feel like I have the mentality and experience to do this film justice, and maybe I wasn't ready to do that like type of film. I like mine came right to
What's
my
yours?
head. It's this movie I did called Photoluminescence. I didn't write it. It was a project I was brought on to do in 2019, and then ended up going to life in 2021. And I think I wish I could have another go at that from two different perspectives. Visually, I think my brain is in a better place now to do what that film required, and to kind of manage it in a way that I feel like would make the film a lot more interesting. The weaknesses of the film are not on the performers and not on the script. It was me as a director. Like, now I feel more capable of directing other people's scripts. At that point, I think I didn't just have the ability to kind of look at a script and bring a perspective. I think it's because I came into it as a cinematographer more than a director. And I feel like if I had another go at that movie would be like, and it's not that the movie's bad. I think you know, everyone was firing on all cylinders. I just wish I can go back and bring 2026 Eddie into doing that movie, because I feel like I could have done those actors a lot more justice.
I mean, maybe I'm forgetting something. Like, I did little movies like Confidant and Gem in the Photo Op, and I'm very happy with Gem in the Photo Op. And Confidant I really like, but it was just a very small slice of life. It's about a stuntman he's lost his leg, he's become disabled, and he comes to visit his mother because his life just really sucks. Mm-hmm. And it's just the conversation they have. But that all it is a really small piece. So I'm okay with that as it is. There wasn't mm-hmm. much more to do with that. And again, not the actors, not anything. It's just a small thing that touched some people, but didn't really do all that mm-hmm. much. Loved Gem in the Photo Op, which we did at the same time. John and I came up with ideas to do one-day films. You know, that to work with people we wanted to work with, you know, and just do one-day films. And Gem is more of a horror movie, which is just so much fun with Jimmy Pravasilis and Diana Durango. But I think I'm going to say, and I might be forgetting something, but I think I'm going to say my first feature. And it's too long, and I should have cut it down big time. Again, performances are fine. I have no problem with that. It's just, I could have tightened it up, you know, and I just didn't. And now it's several years old, and it's out there, and I don't see any reason to do anything with it. And it's not a bad movie. I've had people watch it and still contact me and go, "Oh, this was so cool," because it's about a narcissistic relationship, and and my dentist. Funny, I went to my dentist last. She goes, "I saw your movie." I'm like, "What?" And she told me she watched, because it was really good. I'm like, "Okay," but I would have tightened it up, you know. Pretty much that's about it.
That does bring. Well, now if we're talking about like bad movies too that come, I did when I was 18 a self-financed with like maybe $200 from my dad or something like that feature called Clear. That movie was so bad. But I remember bringing it to one of my actually when I was 20 I brought it to one of my film school teachers, and he was like, visually it's great but it's bad. Mm-hmm. And in hindsight, and like no, like I shot the hell out of that thing and tried to make it look like a live, like really kind of like a glossy 1995 like Ghost in the Shell anime like cyberpunk movie, and the dialogue is just so bad. And I think I submitted it to 2 festivals. I didn't get into either, and I just let that movie die a death. I do not count that as my first feature. It was just me and one person on the crew, and then a bunch of my actor friends. Ugh, awful movie. No. I think I should release it online for fun.
Yeah, you should. You never know. It could be like The Room. I have not seen The Room, but I've heard things about it.
It's got some. Well, the Room I think is better than Clear. Clear, it's just awful monologue. It's just like everyone is just sitting around a table talking about this bomber that's going around, and it's just so boring and so monotonous. And it's just, I think I actually downloaded it like a few weeks ago because I was going to show Letty it, and she probably never would want to work with me again. She's like, "This is what you used to be." I'm like, yeah, it's one of those watch on mutes. But and this movie called Project Linda, which
was it
Project Linda. It was a really cool concept I had that started as a horror, and then the lead actress I was working with rewrote it into like a kind of like weird romance. And I feel like I should have been more vocal about my vision, because the movie, it's on YouTube. You can actually like look up like Project Linda. Don't look up Project Linda. It's a weird movie about a photographer who selects people and proceeds to kind of follow them around and make an album about them. Okay. And taking photos. Like, it's a borderline stalker movie. Mm-hmm. And the original version was like, there was kidnapping and taking photos of someone like drugged, and it was like a really dark movie with a weird ending. And the outcome, it's like nothing happens to the person he targets, but it's like, I had to make my art. So it was weird and creepy. And then she rewrote it where she fell in love with her stalker. It was, and it was, but it's like the first half of it, there's no way this woman would be into this guy. There's no way she would be. So it's essentially like the equivalent today is if like a YouTube celebrity fell in love with one of their stalker fans, and that when you were mentioning like like that came back to me. Oof, don't watch Project Linda.
Well, you can watch The Only Woman in the World, but that was kind of torturous, that movie, because I decided, I don't know, I'd made about 10, 15 shorts at that point. It was time to make a feature. So I said to John, I want to make a feature, but we don't have any money. What do we do? So we decided that we were going to train our entire crew, except for hair and makeup. And I think we had professional gaffers, but other than that, we trained everybody.
Wow.
So John shot it. We trained somebody on sound. We trained an AD and a scripty and everybody else. And so we did all the pre-production ourselves while trying to film. And and I also made an agreement with my actors because I had no money. I was talking to 3 actors who all said, "You don't have to pay us. Just work with our schedule," because it's very hard to get leading roles. And there were 3 leads in the movie, and they said, "We'll do it for free as long as you work with our schedule." Well, yeah, we can do that. So it took us 6.5 months to film it because we had to wait until people were available. You know, but we knew that going in. It was exhausting. It was. It was just crazy. It was just crazy. And we ended up giving everybody like stipends just to give them something. But great acting jobs. No, we decided one of the scenes had to take place in Italy, which of course we didn't have money for Italy. So I had to find a dark bar we could light a certain way and find a few Italian lines that we could have people say convincingly. And then I would go to my Italian friends and go, how would they actually say this? And then tape it and then give it to the other actor to say. And there's only like 2 lines that needed to be done like that. And I mean, in some ways it was a lot of fun, but it was also just exhausting. And I know John was going to edit it to try to save money, but we were busy and he couldn't get to it for a while. And then at one point I said, no, we're going to have to find a way to pay somebody to do, like beg and borrow to get this done, because I don't know if we have a movie yet. And that's, to me, you probably know as an editor, you have the movie. I'm still not confident enough to know I have a movie until I see it. And the way I work with my editors, I usually have them give me a first pass. Then I'll go in and I'll change, what I want to have changed. And so I was like losing so much sleep over that. I'm like, what if we don't have a movie? What are we going to do? And but we have had a movie. But I remember the editor first saying, Jesus Christ, how long is this thing? Because it came out like 2.5 hours long by the time it was done. That's an epic. And he's like, and I love this one editor, but he'd always be like, no movie is too long if it's good. And I'm like, oh no, this is too long. And so I kind of had a fight with him back and forth, cutting until like 1 hour and 56, which is still too long for that movie. But it moves and it flows, and Quentin Tarantino's movies are 2.5 or 3 hours. I'm like, I'm not Quentin Tarantino. My movie cannot be that long.
Hell, I think even on the Hollywood level, like I'm fussy about lengths. Like even like my favorite movie of all time, Interstellar, could be cut down by 5 minutes. It's like I'm very like I feel like my top 10 movies, like none of them I think I would be like, this is perfectly paced from beginning to end. I wouldn't change anything. Honestly, I think the only movie that comes to mind is Ghostbusters.
Oh, I love Ghostbusters.
Just from like a pacing standpoint. Although I will say, I think the best paced movie in history, and this is a weird movie to mention as like a masterclass in editing, is The Fly from 1986.
Is that the Jeff Goldblum one?
Yeah, like that movie. The way it starts is like such a great example of like putting us right in it, and then having us just go along on the ride and the adventure and kind of learning as the characters are learning instead of all the setup and all of this like world building. No, the world building is happening as we're going through, and the stakes are being laid as we're going through, and it's just like tight. Although I will say Interstellar, my favorite movie of all time, has the best edit I've ever, like best singular cut I've ever seen in a movie. Because I remember first watching it, and I'll try to keep spoilers for those who, I don't know who hasn't seen Interstellar. Is amazing. There's this scene where Matthew McConaughey is driving away from his farm. he has to face his obligations to go into space and save the world and da 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 da. And when I first watched it, I was like, okay, here we go. We're going right into the training montage as they get ready to go to space and get ready to do all these things. And they just cut to them launching. And I'm like, that, my expectations, because we've been kind of like programmed that this leads into this, leads into that, leads into that, and I don't know if I'm going to learn anything from this experience. And you just saved 20 minutes by, we're not doing the space montage, we're not doing that stuff, we're ready to go, and we're thrusted into the adventure. And I'm like, that is the best edit. And I knew at that time when I first watched it, I was like, that edit is going to live with me forever. Like, just one cut to the point, no filler, we don't need that stuff. And I love, that's like the power of editing, is when people step outside themselves and they don't treat the viewer like an idiot, and they just kind of like, let's get to where the emotional stakes are, let's get to where the momentum really is. Like, there's so much power in editing. I actually think editing is one of the weakest things I see on the festival circuit.
I can probably agree with that.
Editing kills some really good looking movies, and pacing, and like, just that's where I feel like I have the biggest issue with certain films. It's like, I think I'm the most fussy about editing, and not even just like pacing, but like rhythm and just like moments. And you can kind of feel when you're dealing with an editor and when you're dealing with an editor, like someone who's mastered that craft and knows. And
to me, it's confusing only for the fact that sometimes I know what you're saying, and we'll cut out a whole chunk, and I'm like, well, I'm big on the journey. And that probably bore the crap out of you sometimes. But, so sometimes I'm big on that. And when we just did From the Embers, we had Jack Kelly did our first edit. Jack Kelly, who's I was telling you about before, who's our key grip and whatever, and he wanted to take a stab at it. First he did Brimstone Lullaby that John was in. And he did a really good job. So I'm like, oh, well, let's try him for the feature. And I'm like, do you want to go? Yeah, I'm game. And I was very clear. This is what I think can be cut. This, I know I didn't like this performance in particular from this one person, so take that out. If you have any other suggestions, let me know. And he gave us some great suggestions, cut out a bunch of stuff. And then I have to say, almost everything he recommended, we went with. A couple of things, no, but most of them, yeah. And then I sent it to my other editor who said, no, he needs we need this, we need, so it's interesting to see the 2 points.
Yeah.
Now, John can watch a movie and figure everything out. It takes me a while to go, wait, where, huh? But then he'll tell me, like, okay, that's it. But he picks up on it. My brain is slower. So people can watch things, what might be is too slow pace for you might be what somebody else needs to get to where it needs to go.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting difference there.
And I like the journey. I like when a movie takes a journey. It's interesting how the journey is like presented. Like, you can do a 10-minute like dialogue scene, but with the right like cuts and the right reaction, and like it takes that one shot of an individual like holding their breath and taking that moment to react to that one sentence, and then it elevates the rest of the scene and puts the whole scene in a whole different perspective. And that's kind of like the mastery of editing, is like when you know when to take that moment and it amplifies and changes everything. Like, you can take the same 10-minute dialogue scene and the difference of 2 cuts here showing this and going to this, or even moving that line earlier, it changes. It's like it morphs the just not only the journey, but the mental engagement and the questions I'm thinking and where's this going? How are these people like in their own brains, the character brains, like how are they like processing this moment and what's going on? Like, the right cut makes me more engaged with what the characters are thinking as individuals, and then as soon as I stop thinking that I'm watching a movie, the movie won me. I'll watch 30 minutes of this scene if I'm immediately like lost and forget that I'm watching a movie. And I'm in it. Like, the world doesn't matter anymore. Yeah.
I mean, I love the heading more towards the less dialogue thing. This one thing I love from the Embers. And, the characters, Travis is playing David Herrick, who basically is a former heroin addict. And he had such an abusive childhood that he's got PTSD he never got past. And so he's going to, to meetings and whatever, and he's clean, but he hasn't done the work, to really try and be able to connect with people. And then Julia plays this college student who's very idealistic, and she's going to save the world. She's top of her class in college, and she's going to prove the link between trauma and addiction. And she's writing this brilliant paper, and the interaction between them in certain scenes is so gorgeous. And it's usually when Travis says nothing, but she's going on about how great, this is great, and he's just looking at it like he doesn't even know how to process what she's saying, because he never had that kind of connection with a family or with what, and so the things where almost nothing is said are the best scenes in the movie, and it's like you're saying, is watching the reactions and just seeing what's in there, what they're going through is just so wonderful. And I hope it's all as wonderful as that, and so far I'm happy with it, but at the last minute it's being colored, and I wrote to the finishing editor. I said, this one scene where he says this when he's walking out, can you cut that line? If it were, can you cut? And out of nowhere, it's been in editing for months, and Jack did the original edit, and Rob Riley's doing the color, but since he had it, I, instead of sending it back to Jack, I said, just cut out that one, let's see if it works. And I'm sleeping, and I wake up, and I go, that line has to go. Things like that.
I wish I can have that discussion with myself. I edit my own, I direct and edit my own stuff, but it's like a whole different mindset when I'm editing for Letty, like, because I can step outside being the director and actually like look at the film as like a movie and as a viewer. I would say, it's funny, I consider Letty my finishing editor, not from a technical perspective, but she'll always watch the last cut, and she will be the one to tell, for the films I direct, cut that out. She'll be like, that, you don't need that, because I'm always desperate to be like, I need to get this shorter. Because I feel like my weakness for my own movies is I feel like I'm getting better about it, but I always felt like my films were always on the longer end, and I'm like, this should be 2 or 3 or 4 minutes shorter. And Letty will be like, cut that, you don't need that. So it's hard for me sometimes to step outside my own head, and that's why I always feel like I'm a better editor for others than for myself.
Because you can be objective.
Yeah, I'm too precious with my stuff, and I'm doing better about that now that I'm actually like, I can actually like get my movies under 10 minutes and get to the point. My favorite movie that I've made like the last 10 years, also screened at Life, 21st Century Courtship. My biggest regret is not getting that movie under 15 minutes. And I now, hindsight 2020, I know where I could cut that, and I feel like it did a pretty solid festival run, but I think it would have done even better if I just got it to that 13-minute mark. And I remember Jeremiah Kipp watched the edited, and that was his note. It's like, cut 2 minutes out of it, find the 2 minutes. And I'm like, no, it's precious, it's perfect. And I'm like, no, it's not. I wish I...
Jeremiah.
Yeah, Jeremiah, I wish I listened to you. Yeah, if I could have gotten that movie to 13 minutes, it would have been just so tight. But I got too greedy with my own creativity.
It's hard, but then there's people who are also like, don't cut a minute, don't ever cut a minute. Like I was talking to somebody about, okay, these are the 2 scenes I would cut from Weightless. Like, oh God, no. They're like, no, don't. That's wonderful. You have to, So there's people who like that. You know what I mean? I wrote. I started out as a novelist, and I wrote 3 novels, and the second 2 are pretty good. The first one, I'm so much of a better writer, and I know I am. And part of me, I want to go back and rewrite it, and and I've had people go, don't change a word. I'm like, so I kind of want to put a disclaimer on. I would have rewritten this, but people are telling me not to, because I just know how much better of a writer I am now, but it's so rough.
It's weird. I mean, for every film, I'll go back and do something different, but I'll also like defend like 21st Century, that I'm not going to touch it because it's good for that moment in my life, and we're going to stick with that movie I did called Sandbox. That was perfect. Like, there's very few movies that I would go back. I actually think the only movie that I would be like, I could have, like, that is Love and Hatred in Megawave City. I wish I was forced to do a 10-minute cut for a certain screener, for a certain screening, and I think that version was the best version, because it forced me to cut another 2 minutes out, and I was like, that version was tight. That should have been the one on the festival circuit. I should have went with that one instead of my 11-minute 45-second one, because those 2 minutes mattered a lot in terms of pacing, and I'm like, oh.
Oh, it's the thing I'm always working on is, again, less dialogue. I do understand that there are people who like more dialogue without question, and a lot of people who like less, and that there's that balance. But lately, things have been write it out and then just keep scraping the crap out of it, until you get it to a place where it's in a good place.
Yeah, and but also it's like I edit and I shoot and I like when you watch an edit of any of my movies, like everything is intentional. Like this cut to this person says something. This turn, like I'm very like meticulous in terms of like when I edit something, every moment has a purpose and it matters. That being said, when I get notes to cut something down, initially it's hard for me to be like, no, but I have a reason for this cut. I have a reason for this shot. And then once I'm like, am I just like savoring in this in my own head? Am I justifying this shot? Am I justifying this edit way too much? And it becomes a battle between, as a director, I know that this is all intentional, but am I like overthinking this this little creative bubble in my head that does it matter to the audience as much as it matters to me? Like that turn that she does that shows her longing and wishing that she can like have that moment one more time. Is that audience really going to care about that moment as much as me? So I feel like my current journey is now, and I remember talking to Letty about this, is now I'm trying to watch every film we do as an audience member. Because we're always, not to say we're always critical of other people's movies, but it's like, as an audience member, we have, our attention spans operate differently when it's not our movie. And how we view a movie is differently than how we view our own movies. So now I'm trying to do this whole mental exercise where I step outside myself, like, okay, if I was some random person watching my movie on the big screen without any connection to this, process and these characters, and this is my first time watching it, like, would I objectively or subjectively, or just like outside my own body, would I enjoy this movie? So now that's been like my 2026 goal for everything we're doing, is like reevaluating things as an audience member, instead of being self-indulging too much.
So I know who to go to when I need a second opinion or a third opinion or a 10th opinion on stuff I need to cut out.
Oh, I'll be honest.
Brutal, kindly honest.
Oh yeah, no, my honesty is always kind, because there's merits in every film. Yeah. There's like, honestly, like, I feel like the only really it's of course bad movie we've seen in the festival circuit was just like a full AI movie. Yeah, just like that's it. Just because as soon as I see that first shot and I know it's a full AI, I'm checked out. I'm done. It's just like, and when at festivals, when people boo after the movie screens and they're like, boo to the AI movie, I'm like, yes. There's hope.
Yeah, I can't do that. I mean, there's I guess reasoning for some reasons AI might be used in a movie. I mean, do you feel there's exceptions?
I've been having like a battle in my head about AI, because on one hand, I think it could be a really amazing tool when used the right way. Like, the first example that comes to mind is Quarter Digital, this YouTube visual effects company. They used AI, machine learning, to teach a program how to do better green screen compositing. That makes sense to me, like taking pre-existing plugins and using technology to make those plugins better. That makes sense to me. Like rotoscoping, wire removal, like that makes sense to me, because these are things that me as a visual effects artist, I hate doing. I want to get to the creative stuff. So let's find a way to make something that's 20 or 30 years old in terms of green screen plugins. How can we optimize that and allow me to be creative? But then as soon as you use AI to create that background, I'm done. Like my mindset on AI is that it's like a hammer. It could have been a great tool, but mankind turned it into a weapon and weaponized it, and now it's an arms race to just fill these data servers with constant content that can be funneled out into AI generated video, stealing everybody's work, and just making people, I hate to say this, but making people think they're filmmakers because they can write a prompt. And it's, no, I'm like, so my stance is like AI generated video, I have no like wiggle room on at all. I think AI needs to be more of a procedural, more of a technical benefit, but it can't be a creative benefit. But now you have all these entities taking AI and trying to monetize it and make it a replacement for creativity, and that's like, there's like, I would love like good use for AI. Find some out there in the world, use AI machine learning so that way it can actually watch your video, see your audio, and automatically get the slate to clap based on an assessment. That's great. As an assistant editor, like I saves me like an hour of syncing if I don't have time code. Great, boom. That saves my life. But like I don't understand the joy of AI generated videos and generated images. Like it's
for people who can't make movies. I mean, the first time I've ghostwritten for people in the past. I haven't done it lately, but I've done a few novels and scripts for people, and I'll never forget when I saw something. This is probably 5, maybe 10 years ago. It's like, we can ghostwrite your book for $600. I'm like, oh, they're not writing shit. You know, they're plugging it into a and coming out with whatever. That's not right. And then this person's going to go out and call themselves a writer because they threw some ideas in us.
I can't do that.
I can't, and that is just like, that makes me crazy, because we all have different levels of skill and talent or whatever, and not everything's for everybody. But when you don't even do the work, and yet you call you, that makes me crazy.
And there's no excuses now. Like the cameras are, and I think I remember telling you this, like Letty, the cameras are all good enough. Like the everything, technology is good enough. Like phones are good enough now. In the last 3 or 4 years, you can like literally shoot like high quality ProRes log on your phone. Like there's literally like no excuse to like learn the craft and build yourself from the ground up. And I've seen like some people I respect tremendously when I see them putting out like there's this one visual effects artist, I'm not gonna name his name, but like he was doing such great things 10 years ago, like great things, and seeing him like just put up a bunch of AI videos, I'm like, you know, you're so talented, you know, you're really good at, and I love like visual effects. Like people will argue as in CG, like the same as I know, it's like people are to learn CG and visual effects is a multi-year journey, and to make it look good is even more. And there's physics involved in like learning how light behaves. Like there's so much levels of thinking when it comes to visual effects. So when I see like in the festival circuit really good visual effects, I'm like, that's great, because I know people had to bust their butts in order to create something with that fidelity and that quality. And AI, that's not the same. I like, as soon as I see a CG shot and it's like apparently AI, I'm just like, just cut the shot. Don't do that. You're not benefiting your movie at all.
Yeah.
Like I remember me and Letty, like we have enough anti-AI stories to like fill up a book. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I can go on and on talking about AI's place in the filmmaking industry, and because of how it's weaponized to kill creativity, I have to be on the side that's like, there's no place for it in the film. We could have had nice green screen, chroma key. We could have had like nice like software that could have made our lives better. But now people are trying to kill the creatives. So I'm like, okay, well, we can't have AI then. Like we could have had something nice, and you had to take it away by trying to take us down.
I have never seen a species more invested in their own demise than humans. And I watched this, and I was like, yeah, okay, well, but it's going to be able to do all these jobs. We won't need people. And then what are you going to do with the people who no longer have jobs, and how are they going to feed their families? You know, I mean, okay, but it can do all this. Okay, then so eventually, okay, so getting on my little soapbox. So eventually when you have these people up here making all the money, but nobody did buy any product, you know, then what do? I don't understand the necessity. I mean, I'm all for progress if it makes sense, and you know, the best machines and the best whatever. but when you poison your water and your air, and there's not enough water to drink, and then there's no jobs anyway, it's what world are you creating? I mean, I don't understand that.
I don't. I see. Are you commenting there, Letty? Yes. I feel like you're being like my my social media manager. That is amazing. I love that.
I have to read that later.
I know.
Oh, there she is. Okay.
I haven't been looking up there. I got to catch up on that later.
Yeah, take a picture, Letty. We'll look at that later.
But no, go on that soapbox. Like that's a perfect place to soapbox.
Yeah. It's I think it can be a tool, and somebody reached out to me because I'm having some logos made for my company, and I said, and she said, I'm really looking for this and that, and she's a really, really lovely young woman. And I said, but I know you use AI, and I'm not saying it's wrong for you, but it's not what I want. And she said, yeah, but some people think that, it's the only way I can do things. And she writes beautiful music with it. She writes the music, but she has AI do the background and whatever, and that's like all she can afford to do. So that's good for her. I said, but you know what? The best thing about my work is the fact that my heart is in it. And if you take out the heart, it's crap. But that's how I personally feel. Everybody is different. But people who call themselves something when they haven't done the work, that makes me insane. Yeah, it just makes me insane.
But they also, it's unfortunate because you can use AI as a starting point to teach yourself something. Like, don't put if you want to learn how to make a poster, okay, write a prompt. Don't put that poster up. Look at that poster and be like, okay, how can I learn to do every complicated thing? How can I make that font myself? How can I? And then next thing you know, you've learned a new task, and you put out something that is from you that you made with your own hands and your own brain. But if you put that prompt poster out, that's not your poster. That's you didn't put any work into that at all. Just use it as motivation. Be like, okay, well, if AI can do this, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to learn how to do what it just did for me, and use that as a point of motivation to be creative.
Yeah.
There's ways to manipulate this horrible system to be a creative yourself, but
Some very nice gentleman who is a Facebook friend of mine. I don't know him personally, but he does so much AI stuff. And I don't say anything. Yes, it's beautiful, and he puts a lot of time in it, but I just can't support it because you're just playing with stuff and using up how many resources and all this other things. But then, because I commented on something he said that I liked, I didn't say anything. Yes, he sends me a whole AI video of myself, which is creepy. I was like, oh, that's something, because I didn't want to insult him, but it's like, I will never post this, because it's sort of like everybody who's using all these images, it's like, hey, this is what I'd look like if I was young and beautiful and in great shape. In other words, you hate yourself, so you put on something that's representative of yourself, but not even you as a person, and that makes me crazy. And then they will go back and literally alter all their old images. I'm like, that breaks my heart. Because it's just like, you don't look like that. And their friends are going, look how gorgeous you are. Because it's not them. That hurts me when I see people do that. Yeah, okay, I'm not as young as I used to be. Yeah, I'm not this. Yeah, I'm not that. Yeah, I'd love to be 20 pounds, but I'm a person, and all this other stuff they put up. Will you play? I'm like, no, I don't want to play that, but thank you. So you want to do it, that's good for you. But that hurts my heart.
It does. Although I think ChatGPT is unintentionally one of the funniest comedy apps in the world, because you can just put a prompt in and just be like, look how awful that looks. And that me and Letty will laugh at just AI stuff. This looks like crap. It's and it also, I feel like it's weirdly motivating and it helps our ego. It's just AI, it ain't there yet. It sucks. This is it's interesting because I watch all those weird fruit AI fake things in my scrolling reels, and my brain immediately is like, this is nonsense, and I laugh at it because I'm like, this is nonsense. There's nothing behind this except nonsense. It's just, it's like white noise. And then certain filmmakers take the white noise and try to call themselves filmmakers. By the way, AI filmmaking, that is a oxymoron of a term that doesn't exist. You're not an AI filmmaker. No. AI filmmaking that's not a thing.
Exist.
That's not a thing.
Same thing with AI writers. You're not a writer.
You're not, oof.
You threw an idea in that just makes me crazy. I'd rather see an imperfect script that came from, again, somebody's heart than just this regular trash, that comes out. And it is, try and read it, you're like, oh, somebody didn't write this. This is not real.
And also the heart of like performance like matters. Like seeing people like make decisions creatively on the screen matters. Like I want to see like good work with intentionality. And it's funny, as I was driving in, and Lady, you're gonna get a kick out of this. I saw a thing about that AI actress that I forgot what her name
Tilly
is.
Norwood.
Yeah.
Supposedly an actress.
Supposedly
Cartoon.
they apparently like picked her first big movie to put her in, and I'm like,
What?
why?
Oh, yeah.
You're not that.
You're not a person.
And you're not. It's like I can't watch a movie where I need to see someone tap into themselves and do something and make decisions, and like seeing someone cry on camera, like not only from a storytelling standpoint does it devastate you. It's like, what did that person have to do within themselves to get to that point? It's engaging. It's fascinating. Seeing an AI model cry, like why?
Yeah.
Like there's no emotion behind that.
No.
Ugh.
Watching actors, like really great actors, is the
It's
best thing in the world.
amazing.
It's like, how did they get there? How did they get there? How did you, like, you have an idea as a director what you want,
Yeah.
and sometimes they'll do something completely different. You'll be like, wow, like what a choice that was. I'm like, leave it, and or they'll say, can I try this? And we'll see what it looks like. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I mean, I learn a lot from watching them, and I think especially if it's a feature and you're working with an actor on a certain character, at one point they know the character better than you do because they've inhabited it and they become it, and what they do with it is just magic. I mean, and I love that, and to take that all away and just, I mean, we're doing this series called The Retirement. It's about a hitman who's he's the best at what he does, but a kind of near fatal accident leaves him to consider getting out if he can. And so Travis sent me his first video, because of course it's Travis, and I'm like, I'm not really feeling that, but he was also doing it without being against somebody. And one of his big skills is when he's working with somebody, he locks on, and that's when the magic really happens. I said, but I'm not totally against it yet. I want to see what it looks like when there's somebody else there and what happens. Because to me, that's fun. That's the fun of doing this.
I love it. I know I love having, and Letty will attest to this, I love having big, deep conversations with my actors about character and where they come from and where they're going, and really getting into the minutia of things and seeing what actors bring, like, because I love intentionality on I love when decisions are actively made to, a performance, into a cut, into just the pro presentation. Speaking of people who send like videos, I love one of our favorite actors currently, Michael Coppola. He sends so many.
Oh my God, he's wonderful.
He sends so many like weeks out from when we're about to shoot something. He'll send just like a self tape of him doing a scene to get notes. And it's so interesting to see his process. And it's always like, we stop whatever we're doing. Like we're driving, pull over. We got a Michael Coppola read, and he's just like, I love when actors like take that initiative, be like, here, this is me in the process. I want you to be a part of this. I'm like, I love that.
That's
I
great.
love that we're making this like an actually involved, creative, like dynamic.
Yeah.
That's magic.
And there's some actors you work with, like I work with Bobby Glassy from Blue Bloods Lawn. He's so freaking good at everything he does. But whenever we work on something together, I will sometimes get a call every day for 2 weeks. So when I say this, is this what you're looking at, or that what, or I don't really think that he would do this. And then we'll talk about why. And almost every choice he makes is way better than anything I could ever come up with. He's so good, and he's always so on the moment. And he so becomes the character. Like when we did, my first movie was The Last Taxi Driver. I don't know if you saw that. It's my zombie movie.
I want to see it.
Oh, it's on my YouTube channel, at Debra Markowitz.
We got to see this.
And
We're gonna watch
there's
this.
not much story. It's just a goofy story of a taxi driver. It's the end of the world. The apocalypse has happened, and most of the people left are just zombies. But he's not freaking giving up his license. He's a taxi driver, and so he's always dodging between trying to pick up people and zombies.
Wow.
And it's just a silly thing. He had me laughing throughout the whole freaking thing because his choices are so amazing, and he's just so hilarious. And the funniest jokes in the movie are him just being him. And, and that was my first experience directing. And I knew that I'd already been casting and producing for other people, But I knew that I was going to be judged much harsher than most people because I already had been film commissioner for a couple of decades. I had already been running a film festival for 15 years, and I know every person who ever got turned down is going to say, let's see the shit she comes up with.
Oh, the pressure.
So we were deciding whether we would just do it for like $200-300 or we're going to raise money and make a movie with names and hire people who knew what the hell they were doing. And so that's the route we decided to take. Again, it's just a little goofy movie. It's not great art. It looks phenomenal. Mark Ryu is the DP. Mark is also shooting a couple of guys because we started with him.
Oh, nice.
And he's just so good and such a great editor. And so it looks great. And even though every happy accident we had, getting blizzarded out, like having blizzards and getting almost snowed out, in the background looks awesome for the apocalypse. So everything just mountains of snow.
The happy accidents.
Happy accidents, and that's kind of makes it. But when have an actor who's that into it, they want to make sure they really get what you want and what they feel the actor would do, and I love actors that do that. Or Tara Westwood going, I think as the mom, I would be curious about this. And I'm like, let's film it. Let's see what it looks like. And it's one of the scenes where people will say to me, wow, coming up with that. And I'm like, that was all Tara. That was Tara saying, as a parent, your son is having an affair with one of the neighborhood moms. When did this start? When you were a kid and stayed over there, was there a I wouldn't have thought to say, but yeah, a mom would ask that. And he's like, oh, no. I'm in my 20s when this happened. Nothing happened when, we were kids, but that's a thing a mom would ask. So there's some serious moments in there that I wouldn't have thought of.
That's great.
Your actors, if they're really into it, it's just the best thing ever to working with them.
That's the fun part of the process, especially when, we're doing this kind of weird universe of films that it started with one idea that I came up with the GB program, and there was this one character in it that's apparently the CEO, and he's just like in charge of this really messed up program that allows you to talk to the afterlife. And we kind of were like, maybe we're gonna make this into a feature, and we made it into like a series of shorts that kind of stand on their own but can kind of come together. And I remember I made the GB program, and it was just this one guy, just like the CEO. And then I started.
And that's Michael, right?
Letty's suggestion is like, Michael would be good for this character, Mr. Chad. And I'm like, okay. And then from there, I wrote a whole production Bible of backstories. And then Letty took that and turned it into a script for a follow-up, kind of like a prequel thing. And then Mr. Chad, that character, Michael, took the ball.
He is so awesome in that.
This one character that I thought was going to be a throwaway character is like the most fascinating character I've ever been involved with. And he is just like, it's so interesting seeing the journey that Michael went on to create that character and to expand and take it somewhere and send these videos of him reading as the character, to the point now when he gets in character, he can't turn it off.
I love it.
And it takes him days to shake it off.
I know you have one of your actors here.
Oh yeah, he was in one of the films in the GB program universe. I think it was Letty. It was your first drama. You directed your first drama, and that was great. You killed it with that. And it's funny because you did another in the universe that's like a dark, satirical, comedy, and yeah, it's. I'm hoping that's one of our first features, taking that and making it into something. So. But I love the process of actors just getting involved and just doing things. I know the first one that comes to mind is Jessica, because me and her were just texting all the time. She was the female lead of the GB program, and we were just really. As a director, my job is to have an answer for every question. And if I don't have an answer, we're going to figure out that answer together. I'm never going to be dismissive of your word. If you have a question about your character, I'm not going to be dismissive, even if we're there's a diplomatic way of okay, we have 10 minutes to get this shot. If you have a question, I'll diplomatically find a way. It's I will answer your question, but we also got to get this shot. So right now we're going to make a decision about where this character goes, what we're going to do at this moment. Let's get this shot. But I'll never once say, just act. That's not.
Yeah, that's not it.
That's not in me. I love engagement with the actors.
We actually have gone over a little bit. Can we go over a
It's
couple
my-
of minutes more? We're good?
Absolutely.
So
Oh, okay.
let's show your reel. You said you had
Oh
a reel
yeah,
that
it's
you wanted
just
to
a
show us?
compilation, a compilation of all of the various things I've been involved with as producer, DP, etc. for Love Your Face and various other things. It's the old reel. I've been trying to update it, but it's still got a lot of good stuff.
That's so awesome. I know that's one of your old reels, but it's so cool. Your lighting is so
Oh,
amazing.
thank you. And just like so many lovely people we worked with. And funny, it's like I didn't put in my together. In the reel, the woman that's playing like the puppet that escapes is the lead in Paralysis, like Letty's newest horror movie. It's so interesting watching everybody and just like, just think it's been a crazy like 5 years of just creating, and it flew by so quickly. It flew by so quickly. We met so many amazing people, and we're working with so many amazing people.
How many people have we worked with this year from that we met at Life?
That's actually a really good
I
point.
love that.
We've
Yeah.
met so many people at the Long Island International Film Expo. It's like every year I feel like we meet another person that comes into our roster, because we met Michael Coppola there, and we met Rachel, and just like all these just awesome people.
I love to hear that. It gives you a reason for killing yourself every year for the film festival, that you meet people you're going to work with. A lot of my actors I met through the film festival that I ended up using. I hate that. I mean, I had to stop watching the films because I'm just too busy, and plus I touch too many films, and I don't want to hurt them.
Of course.
But when I used to watch the films, I would go, "Who is this?" And I'd write down the name, and then I'd look them up.
That's
and
what
then
Letty does. She has the barometer in her head of like that person. Phoebe's so good. I think I don't want to. I'm a lot more. I don't want to say selective, because you're very selective. It takes like a lot for me to have that certain spice to be like that person. Like Letty, I think Letty is a lot more like introspective. Like she has what she calls the spidey sense, where she's like, I see this
I
person.
kind of have that.
Then that, and that's it. In me, I'm like, I think I'm looking at more of like a technical level of, in terms of like, ooh, can I have on my crew? And Letty's more of the like the talent scout, where she's like,
Yeah,
them.
but that's a good symbiotic relationship to have that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like, you've really plucked a lot of people out from festivals. You have been just like that person, that person, that person.
Yep.
You see that little small,
That small little
thing.
bit of spice.
Yeah, like the flick of an eyebrow.
That
or
adobo.
just,
Yeah.
a little adobo.
Yeah.
And that's half the reason like we love going to the festivals and doing the festival run, is like, you never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're going to see.
Well, that's why I met Shoshana. I have to work with her one day. I know she moved out of state though for now.
Oh,
At least for
yeah.
a while. Yeah.
I don't know if she'll be back or not. I know she went and like building a family and kind of
Yeah.
doing her thing.
Because I
but-
saw her at a film festival with you, and I texted you, and I go, is she good? Because I hadn't seen your movie yet. I said, is she? And you said, yeah, she's really good. I said, because I saw her, and I went, she's got a great look. She's gonna be something. But then she got pregnant, and she moved out, and so.
Yeah.
But I would definitely want to work.
But
with
I
her
know
one
she
day.
she doesn't have quit in her for the industry, so it's only a matter of time before you see her popping back into things
Yeah.
and doing what she does. Like that woman don't know quit.
That's
she don't know
awesome.
quit.
That's awesome. But yeah, same thing. I'll pick up people, and it's like I don't got to work with somebody, on something, and you have to find the right thing. You hope you're right, but I have a good spidey sense. But the interesting thing is when I'm stuck on something and I just can't find the right person, John will just go, "How about?" And I'll be like,
That's Letty. That's it. It's
Yeah,
like you need
yes,
that person
and
outside
I didn't
of
think
you.
of that person. Yeah.
You need that person outside of you, and it's like, how come I never thought of this? And that's half of our casting now is me being like, how come I didn't think of this? Because then the other half is just being like, let's just get Megan. It's always
Yeah.
Megan's like, she's like a lightning bolt, like just lightning in a bottle of an actress for me. So it's like she's like my Johnny Depp. And I find but I love that recently we've expanded so much with all the actors we're working with, and there's so much insane. And even John, yeah, oh yeah.
Now working with kids.
So I always know when John has a new role because I'll see a new outfit on the bed. I'm like, this isn't something John usually wears. Like, oh yeah, it's I'm the father in this and that. And like, oh, there's this long coat. Well, yeah, that's for this character. I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
he's accumulating a wardrobe for all the horror ones, and then the dad ones, and then the whatever ones. But it's good to have that stuff as an actor.
Yeah,
you never
and
know.
it's crazy because I've seen him at the festival for like so many years, and then as soon as I see him act, I'm like, wait, hold on. And then it's like, oh, he's playing this dark character. No, and then you're like, I think he could play a really good like dead father, and I'm like, okay. It's like this is a really dramatic, and he killed it. Like he got soft, he got in there, he just ruminated in the emotions of the scene. So I'm like, okay, some versatility. I love that.
I can't wait to. I don't know if he told. I think we told you we're going to do actually a horror film version of Brimstone called
That's so cool.
Franklin.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll have to talk to you about that when we get to that. But we're going to do it very low budget, and we kind of have the idea that Franklin is. They think the father's dead, but he's not. So they basically go
That's
there to
cool.
close up the house, but once they go in, they can't get out.
That's a good concept.
And now it sort of becomes Franklin's Playhouse.
That's a cool concept.
Yeah, so that's we're working on developing the Christmas movie, but I think Franklin will be first because we can do it cheap, as opposed to Yuletide's names and unions and all that other stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I wrote the first scene already, but we have to work on that.
That's
but anyway, we could talk here forever, and this is
know.
awesome. And I know we've kind of blown past the time, but I don't care. And Tony's great, so
This is great.
Yeah, this was awesome. But I want to thank so much Eddie LeBron for being our guest today. This
Thank
was
you
really
for having
cool.
me.
There's a lot that people can learn from you, and I can't wait till we actually get to work on something. John's worked with you, but I can't wait till I get to work with you on something.
I know. I remember Letty saying you were like, "How come I wasn't on set?" It's like you have an open invite to our sets.
I think I was actually working on.
You can
something
literally
else,
walk onto our set anytime. You got an open invitation.
And I appreciate that. But it was great to hear the stories after. I get so excited.
Aww.
But anyway, thank you so much for joining us today on The Best of Intentions, the podcast of Intention Films and Media. I want to thank Eddie LeBron so much. He is going to be at the Long Island International Film Expo this coming week.
Yes.
If you see this before the film festival, with a couple of your films, Paralysis and
The Closet. I produced, edited, and was cinematographer on them. They were all directed and written by Letitia Buchanan.
Woohoo! And you're both going to be on our director's audition panel. And
that's going to be fun.
Yeah, so this will be really cool. So anyway, come on down to Life, and thank you, Eddie, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Take care, y'all.